you believe this? We are not in the finals.
Rob.
Can you believe this? Knicks 2025 edition season recap starts with a big frown on our face, but it's not an indication of the season. Go New York, go is what it's supposed to be still. That's how I feel. What's up, everybody?
What's
What's
happening?
up?
Heartbroken, heartbroken.
Yeah.
Confused too, but we'll talk about that later.
Yes.
Well, confused because we have someone we haven't seen in like 10 months.
Mm-hmm.
That's confusing in itself, but
Yeah.
welcome back, big baby.
What's
Big
happening?
baby.
What's going on? I figure I will let you get some basketball knowledge tonight. So come on.
Oh Lord.
Here you go.
Taking
Here you go.
sipping his own Kool-Aid today.
Hmm. You sipping something? I don't know about Kool-Aid.
Sugar.
But I want to make sure that we take away what we need to take away from today. And I don't know why I'm not ready to show off my love for my team. And I'm going to make sure I do that right. So at the end of the day, I still feel like it's opening night and we still have things to get ready for the year. That's how I feel. Optimism. We're going to see how things play out. We can just open the night again.
Uh,
After they lost that series, I'm not going to say to what team they lost the series due to, you know, uh, activities on the court that, caused us to take action against a certain person. Those are things that we have to contend with on this opening night moment full of optimism. What's up, everybody? How you doing?
Doing all right.
On and on.
I thought it was a good year, to be honest with you.
I did.
I thought it was a good year, and I'm glad that he got fired.
Really? See, I'm confused with that. I really am.
Why? He's a terrible coach.
But I don't know. I don't know.
You see, you're being misguided about a
I
50
hate that.
or 50 something games you win a year.
No, I'm not even thinking about that. My whole thing is within the last 3 years is as they have it seems as though they have gone up at least one step.
Yeah, so what?
Oh,
So, Crystal,
yes.
since you're not going to be on camera, you
Yeah.
can't hold back your words then.
Mm-hmm.
Speak your truth.
But and that's what bothers me. Yes, I do realize that he did not always play the rookies, and when he did play them, they won. I get it.
Then always he played a rookie.
Right, but my whole thing is, I would have given him one more year.
For what?
Let me speak my truth, big baby. You haven't been here in 10 months. Just think about it. I mean, the Knicks, from where the Knicks were 5, 6 years ago to where they were this last series, right? It's been 25 years, and this man brought them right there. Technically, they were one win away because that first game they should have won that game, and
See,
I was
this is why. See, this is why.
Painful.
Let her finish. Let her finish.
But
She's not gonna be on camera. You better come with it.
yeah. It's
Come with it.
it's just my opinion. Big Baby does not have to agree with it.
You don't have to qualify the statement. Just say what you feel.
But I'm just saying, I think if anything, I would have given him one more year. Simple as that. Go for get another player, get a couple more people on the bench because when they traded for Cat, they lost a lot of their bench players.
Mm-hmm.
So they technically did not have a bench. So that's all I want to say.
We wouldn't know about that because they didn't play.
Well, two of them, or they what? Charmaine, whatever his name is. Yeah, they played him in the third game and they won.
Mm-hmm.
And then they played again, I think the fifth game, and they won.
Let me.
So I'm sorry.
You done? Are you done?
Just for that?
You
No.
gonna get back? You gonna get back to bullying already, big baby?
All I said was, "Are you done?"
That means shut up.
Yeah, exactly. That's all right. Let me keep my camera off.
Trevor,
Walk on.
you mean shut up already?
That's all right.
All I said was, "Are you done?"
It's how you said it. It's not what
We
you
know what
said.
that means.
Mm-hmm.
That's all right.
I apologize. Are you done?
Whatever.
Worse.
I know. That was condescending.
When the first game against
Mhm.
Indiana, they blew a 17-point lead. Okay, we understand that. That happens. It shouldn't happen, but it happened. He hit a very fortunate shot, bounced in the air, came in, switched through the net. We got it. All right, we get that. There was absolutely no excuse for not playing better the second game. You come out in the second game, you get beat. What, they got beat by 30 the second game at home? After losing a game that you were up by 17 or 18 in the last 3 minutes of the game, and then you're gonna lose the way you lost this game too.
Preach.
That's why he should be fired. Because that's when you make the adjustment. Now, and forget about the adjustment that he didn't make during the game. Because when that guy, how do you say his name? Naismith, whatever his name is, he hit 1 3, then another 3. Then, all right, call time, dude. Call time.
Yeah, get him off his
Get him off his rhythm. You don't just keep playing. And then you see that they're pressing Brunson. You see, put in another point guard next to him. Make adjustment during the game. It makes no sense.
Mm-hmm.
And then you was talking about, well, give him another year. Another year for what? So he can do the same nonsense?
No, not necessarily.
And let me tell you something. And Trevor will tell you, I
Can you
was
put him on mute?
the biggest advocate of Thibodeau from the very beginning. I thought he was a good coach, and I said the only thing that I agree with Trevor on was that he did not develop. I did agree with that. But as the years have gone by, I've seen everything that Trevor has said and others, not just Trevor, but others have said about this man and the way he coaches is terrible.
Do it.
He
Stand there.
He doesn't call. Why?
That's all
How
you
do
see. Don't listen to nobody. All about himself is so annoying. That's all. I'm so sick of him. Be gone.
Yeah. Why do you wait till you are 2-0 and now you want to start making adjustments? You know good and well, as much as I love Josh Hart, and I do, I think Josh Hart is a good player, but you have to make adjustments in the you have a 6'4" power forward. It didn't work against Indiana because they running up and down the court, and he's not athletic enough to keep up with that. Come on, man, get him out of here. Get him out of here. I'm sorry, and I was Trevor can tell you I was in this corner 3 years ago. And Trevor was saying everything that I'm saying now. Trevor was saying then, and I said, "Yeah, but Trev, but this, and but that." I sound a lot like Crystal. Give him another year. Give him another year.
You sound like me anyway. So it don't matter.
Yeah, as long as I don't look like you.
You wish.
I think somebody who's named on your list here be protesting on that one.
It's crazy.
The problem I have with Thibodeau, and the reason I kind of disagree with you, Crystal, because the way Thibodeau plays his players, Brunson had to play, and he got that clutch player of the year award, and not because he couldn't do it, but he had to play because this man does not give him a break. During the playoffs, he gave him a break a couple of times.
Because he has in foul trouble.
Another year with Thibodeau, what's going to happen to Brunson?
He'd be dead.
Burn out.
That's right.
You're just gonna burn them out.
Burn
It
out.
doesn't make any sense. You got all these players. You look at the players that the Knicks had. You look at Toppin, and he's playing regular. He's
Playing
playing
top of
great.
the line.
You know, you look at what's the kid that Anthony
On OKC with OKC right now.
Hartenstein.
Well, I'm talking about
Hartenstein is playing his butt.
I'm talking about the players that were Knicks, the ex-Knicks.
Well, Hartenstein too.
Hartenstein.
Hartenstein is playing. I mean,
Hartenstein, exactly. Hartenstein. You look at DiVincenzo and Randall. Joshua. Look, they're playing good because they play. You know, now he was basically to me, this is how I think. He was developing Achua. Why did he not play Achua? He could have put Achua in there to spell, cat.
It's interesting that you said that.
In there.
Yeah, it's interesting you said that.
When he brought back Mitch. Mitch, he played good, but Mitch, he's not in top form because he's been injured for so long.
It was a joke. They hacked him to death.
He played good. I give
it was a joke
for what he did, but he needed to be spelled also. He needed to be played, in a way to giving guys a chance to get in there and get some rest and then come back. In the playoffs, you're just going to kill these guys. You're just going to wear them out. If they get to the playoffs next year, he's going to do the same thing.
Yep. Whenever you see a player,
they're going to get hurt.
Whenever you see a player who has led the league in the last year or so, well, actually, I think it's been about 4 or 5 years since Mikel has actually missed a game. It's been like 5 years, something like that.
Yeah.
Right? Something. It's been a very long time since he missed a game. Whenever you see a man like that, he complains about playing time.
Yeah, exactly.
Why?
Exactly.
You're killing me, dude.
Exactly.
Yep. He said, use the bench. Game 1, Bridges played 46 minutes. It makes no sense.
Makes no sense.
Makes no sense.
And then now everybody's dead for the game 2. No, we get it. We get game 1 winning 2 in overtime. We get that. But still, you didn't have to use everybody the way you use them. And then during the course of the year, there have been games when they've been up by 30 points, 25 points, 27 points. They've been up by very large margins, and the starting 5 is still in there.
Yep.
During the fourth quarter.
Down to the last 2 minutes.
Now that makes sense. You up by scores 65 to 6. and you got everybody still in there.
50 seconds left. All right, you in. It don't make no sense. I'm cold. My legs are stiff. I'm tired. No.
But Crystal wants to keep this guy.
I just
gone.
But I mean, I hear everybody. I understand what everybody's saying. I do.
Crystal, you know what it is? And you know I love you. But you know what it is?
Here comes the butt. Here comes the butt.
No, she's just sentimental. She feels sorry for him.
Oh my goodness, stop it. I'm only sentimental towards certain things.
You feel sorry for the man. That. I don't want him to lose his job. You know what?
No, I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
Sorry for him.
Didn't say that. Okay. All right.
Get him out of here, man.
I mean, I understand everybody's point. So who are they gonna bring in? Okay, that's the next thing. And are they gonna then put all these players on what you call that? When they rest them all the time?
We're gonna put them on the bench, let them breathe.
You know what injury reserve?
I'm just asking.
No. Who are they gonna get? I don't know. Who should they get?
Load management.
Load management. There you go.
No, they're not gonna do that. But they're gonna.
They trying to get rid of his father, Brunson's father. They have problems with too.
That's gonna be a problem.
Well, that's gonna be difficult because
that's gonna be something.
You know, you can't fire my father, then expect me to
play.
Yeah. So that's gonna be difficult.
After I gave you all this money back.
Okay.
Yeah, that's gonna.
They were looking at Jason Kidd, which I think of Jason Kidd.
Yeah, they're looking at him.
Well, I wouldn't mind Jason Kidd. To be honest with you, I think Jason Kidd is a great basketball mind.
Yep.
And he does use his bench. Well, at least he did use his bench in Dallas.
Yep.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
uh,
May toughen him up
but
because
They
I know
Dallas,
he can play
but
dirty sometimes. You know, he
but
do some dirty
but,
things.
they
but
also said Hurley.
Dallas so far, Dallas has refused to give him permission to talk to him.
No, not yet.
Yeah, no, they haven't. I don't know whether that has changed.
Hmm.
Because usually there's things that may happen underneath the table that we don't know about, and then they all of a sudden they
Yeah.
allow him to speak to him. So who knows? Money may change hands or
Mhm.
something like that may happen. Who knows?
They
But
said
they also had this former coach, Johnny
Johnson. Yeah, I know you're
Bryant.
talking about.
Johnny Bryant.
Yeah, Brian. We
Um,
don't even know who is he.
he was an assistant coach with the Knicks for a long time,
Yeah, but
and
what
Mm-hmm.
is he doing now?
He wasn't allowed to speak, as
yeah,
all of Tibbs' assistants were not allowed to speak while
Why
he
they
was the
got
coach.
the one
wow.
man coach, one man. Yeah.
So what? They said also Hurley, the Connecticut coach.
I don't. I don't like Bobby Hurley because
I mean Bobby. I'm sorry.
Danny.
um
Mm-hmm.
here is it Bobby or Danny?
Danny.
Danny. Here's what I don't like about Danny Hurley is that I don't like these coaches that tend to think that they have invented the game.
Mm,
And I'm leery of him because he's kind of to me kind of cocky, kind of
Mm,
I got it, I got it, I got it, I got
mm,
it. You know, and he may not take advice from others. So
We don't need that again.
yeah, that's just my
mm,
opinion. I
Yeah.
mean, I know, of course,
I can
obviously, I
see.
don't know the man. I mean, I could be reading him wrong, absolutely wrong.
I can
But
Mm-hmm.
see how you come to that conclusion. Mm,
yeah, but it does seem like that, you know. But
mhm.
whoever they get, they need to get someone who's willing to to develop
mm-hmm.
and use the players. The guys can't play well if they don't play.
Nope.
They can't play well if they're overplayed. If they're tired,
That's true too.
burn them out.
You become
Yeah,
resentful of one another, so you're gonna put me in the last 30 seconds and I'm supposed to perform. That's doesn't make sense.
yeah.
They even talked about what's his name? Mike Brown from Cavaliers.
Yeah,
I'm
they
sorry
did.
for the sac. Wait, he was a
They
team coach for
mentioned
the
it.
Sacramento Kings
Yeah,
before.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, mm,
And where's he at? I don't know.
yeah.
I don't know about
Not
him.
gonna be able
Mike
to do
Brown
I
was
don't think he's
also
going
in
to be a good
Cleveland.
that.
fit. I see Jason Kidd
not,
only
not,
because he knows New York.
New Yorker. He's a former.
Yeah,
Well,
you know,
if he
that's
if he were a New Yorker, then how about Mark Jackson?
yeah, he
Black was
blacklisted. He ain't
coach.
never coming back.
Is he in
yeah,
He ain't never coming
the
back. So no,
conversation?
that's not even a question
yeah.
anymore.
Yeah, I can't see him coming
Mm.
back.
I don't see how that happened.
Yeah, that's a whole nother podcast.
Yeah.
I don't see
What
how that
about
happened.
another basketball player, formerly like Carmelo Anthony? You think he's too young and he's not? He's
Well, I can't say
blacklisted
he's
too.
not a
When I got
coach.
blacklisted, but I was like, he may not let him play, but can he coach?
Well, I
Find
know
his way back to New York.
Melo said that too. He says like he
Hmm
ain't had no role for me. My role was to sit on the
hmm
bench.
Talk about who, Trev?
Yep.
Yeah,
Oh,
Melo.
Oh, okay.
When he got asked to come back to the Knicks when he had the interview with the coach, he was like, "Yeah, my role was going to be sit on the bench and
Mhm.
maybe I'll play."
hmm
Mhm.
I was like, "Wow."
Yep.
Like, nah, that's okay. So it was interesting, but
Imagine him coming as a
for,
coach.
for, for me, far as a coach, there's an element of Tibbs that really benefited us, which is the drive to win the game in front of us. If there's a coach that could balance that aspect of what was good from Tibbs to the stuff that was bad from Tibbs, which is the development aspect and utilizing the various skill sets on the team
Hmm
in a way that can still have that same result, that's to be the optimal coach. I don't know who that is. I don't see that in Mike Malone. Don't see that in Mike Brown. Um, I really don't see that in Jason Kidd. Jason Kidd to me is too um is too creative. He to me he would lose sight on what's important, and maybe that was my takeaway from how he managed Luca, with his inability to get Luca to be in shape, one, but still playing him in a way that was all geared toward Luca, which is still phenomenal, but yet it came at the disservice to where players wanted to get off that team. So who really is Jason Kidd as it comes to coaching? And even when you saw when Kyrie came aboard, there was never really a continuity between the two, but it was still they were two very dominant one-on-one players. And how do you match dominant one-on-one players in a team-oriented aspect? That's very challenging. So I don't know who Jason Kidd really is.
Yeah, but it took him to the
He,
finals.
he was too creative when it came to Giannis to a certain point when he was with Giannis in Milwaukee. But then he
disagree with
reverted
that.
back. He reverted back to deferring to, and all of them yielded different types of success. I don't know who Jason Kidd is. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but he's demonstrated an ability to be to cater to his team. But I don't know if that's going to be what this team needs, catering to his team, because there's an aspect of what Tibbs provided, which was hardcore winning and utilizing all the skill sets. If Jason Kidd is able to demonstrate that mix, then he will be great. I just don't know if that's him.
He did a phenomenal job of getting them to the finals.
Yeah, he did. He did.
But his style of play, they got them to tire out. So they didn't make it through. Like they got him there, but they were too tired to make it after that.
Not even just that. He wasn't able to balance the lack of the lack of defense of Luca, and that impact on the team.
But that's not his fault, though.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's his fault or not his fault. I'm just saying the inability to be able to get the lack of prioritizing defense from Luca had an impact on the team.
But Trevor, but you're saying it's his fault.
I'm not saying it's his fault. I'm just saying that's what happened.
Yeah, but so then where does the fault lie, Luca or him?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. And that's something I don't know what Jason Kidd is going to be able to bring with those the portions that we need from Tibbs, the good portions we need from Tibbs versus the bad stuff. Is he able to merge those worlds together? I just don't know. I'm not saying it's not a slam dunk to me. That's my point. It's just not a slam dunk.
Yeah,
that's all I'm saying.
So who would you?
I don't know. I don't know who that coach is right now. Because even when we talk about Johnny Bryant, you hear the talk about him being such an innovator, but that too in self scares me because when so much of an innovator, what are you holding your hat upon? Is it going to be defense? If it's going to be continuity, I don't know. I don't know who those guys are. So that's where the trust for Leon is going to have to be there.
But not knowing is part of every no matter who you get, you don't know.
Well, I knew Tibbs was going to be jacked up, but I was willing to not know. We got here.
But I'm saying let's just say, I mean, in my opinion, the coach in Miami is probably one of the best coaches in the league. Okay, so Spoelstra, if he's available, I'll say go for him, right? And then you say, yeah, but you don't know. Maybe he'll be a bad coach with the Knicks. You don't know.
I don't think that.
But you don't know. Do I think that? No, I don't think that either. But the point that I'm saying, everything is unknown until you know it.
Well, yes, but you're twisting what my point is. My confidence level in the not knowing the true results of what Poster would do is lesser than a Jason Kidd.
Okay.
From that standpoint, because Poster, I know what Poster is going to, because he's been able to merge so many different types of teams.
That is true.
That's my point. Kidd, his teammates were so dominant in one particular area that I really don't know who Jason Kidd truly is as a team merger.
You might have saw who Jason Kidd was as a coach if that big dummy for the Mavericks who came from the Lakers could stay healthy for 5 minutes. You might have saw him do well with them. If my cousin Mr. Davis could have played better.
You would go there.
I mean, it's the fact.
Yeah, you would go there. I it's just here's the funny thing. Jason Kidd.
It's really hard to coach a team if half your team is in street clothes.
Exactly. Not even dressed for the game. You're right.
Come on, man.
I'm 100% on you on that one. 100%.
Yeah.
But here's another thing with Jason Kidd for me.
They didn't adapt people out. They were all able to. That's all they did.
There's an aspect of what's next with Jason Kidd. In not just in his latter portion of his NBA career, but also as his coaching career. When he was with the Nets, his focus was still on wanting more.
Okay.
Well, not necessarily for getting the best out of that team. And he was a brand new coach, but his angle was he wanted the team and he wanted ownership. Got to Milwaukee, got a little ownership, he wanted more. Got the boot. Had to be demoted in his mindset. Went to Los Angeles as a assistant. Yes, he won the chip with
LeBron.
Yeah, I'm not whatever that dude's name is. I'm talking about the coach.
Oh.
Vogel.
Yeah, Vogel. Frank, yeah.
Then he got the Dallas job. I just don't want another coach to be what's next. I want that coach to be focused upon this team. If this is something that he really wants to do, then it should be from his standpoint, going to his team and say, hey, I want the Knicks. And that's it.
We should be committed.
And if they do that, to me, don't break up the team. They're going to change the coach and break up the team. You'll never know what they could have been, what they could have done. I'm not like what I'm reading here about Hart. I'm disgusted.
What are they saying?
Yeah, they want to trade him.
You got to be kidding me.
Hart, he's the top person with him. Carl Anthony Towns, but the top person they plan on trading is Hart.
Remember, we had that same type of love for John Starks when he got traded. Remember,
contract. To me,
we had that same love for John Starks when we traded for him for Sprewell.
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
I'm talking about in general, Knicks.
Okay, yeah.
In general, Knicks. But
you're never gonna really know what they were capable of if they break up the team right now. Do the coach. Let them play with this team for a year.
Now you're trying
I don't see what's his name, Durant.
What you say, Glenn?
She sound like you talking about this year thing.
No,
you know,
just give it a year.
Who wants Durant?
So Susan, to
I
your
don't want
point,
Durant coming.
I'm not big on Durant. I'm not big on Durant either because that's a whole nother missing 20 games during the season, not being available. I agree with you on that one, Susan.
I thought last year he said he didn't want to go to the Knicks.
He's going where the money's at, and if he thinks
exactly.
He's a solo player. I don't want him with the Knicks.
He going with the team that's going to give him an extension.
Exactly. How old is he now?
Playing with Brunson.
36.
200 years old.
But Susan, here's my my conclusion on this team when it comes to certain players. I've said this the very first time that Hart came to the Knicks. His game is the same as it was in college. His ability to be able to develop certain on his own self, develop aspects of his game to be a better creator. Since he's going to be, there's an investment with him having the ball a lot. Then his decision making comes into question. You know, is he going to take that more seriously? Because if the coach is going to give you that, there's an ownership of yourself to say, well, if I'm being granted this information, granted this privilege, then I got to make better decisions, which means my skill set has to be more refined. I don't think that portion of his game is something that he takes seriously. That's the piece of it. Because he's the same player as he was in college. Same exact player. He's got him great things so far, but as we see, when you get to the playoffs, we need more. And is he able to take that?
I think with a little bit of rest, he can come back and do a little more because he's out there for the same amount of minutes.
First of all, here's the thing, though, Trevor. Here's the thing. Hart should be coming off the bench.
Oh, yeah, that's 100%.
Oh, yeah, I agree with that.
And so if he comes off the bench, right, Hart going up against other bench players, he's going to stand out. Going up against starters and playing the minutes that he was playing, right, he was getting exposed.
Yep.
So he's going to have to come off the bench. And don't bring him in as your 6'4" power forward. How about bringing him in as your 6'4" 2 guard? where he should be
100%.
playing.
Mm-hmm.
Put him back in his proper position. That also would help a lot as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, his game hasn't changed much. Well, like I told you many times, I don't follow college the way you do, so I don't remember him in Villanova. But if
Same player.
if his game hasn't changed much since college, perhaps what he should do is play at his natural position, and that would help him to at least play better and play off the bench.
Well,
Because
to that point, Glenn, his benefit to the team, because just before he came in, he was in Portland.
Mm-hmm.
As a bench player on that team, it was no benefit to them because they was going young.
yeah,
The
yeah,
last time he was successful in a John Stockton role, which is coming off the bench 6-man type of role, LA and with New Orleans.
right.
He was effective in being
Yeah.
able to be that gritty, hardy guy. However, he saw after his first season, because there were still 3-pointers that he was making in his first half season with the Knicks. Well, hey, I'm being entrusted with from the coach to be more of a type player. And listen. All I'm saying is there's a certain level of ownership as a player for you to say, hey, I'm being used, because this is the first year he was with the Knicks, when he saw that he was going to be used in his capacity with having the ball in his hand and being able to make more decisions. That should have at least been, I need to refine that.
But
Because
maybe
he got
he's not. But maybe he's not good at that
I don't know. I can't say he's good or not good. He hasn't done it.
because
But
he's not good at it.
no. He said it himself about his off season. It's not, he doesn't do it as his family time for off season. He said that. So it's like, okay, then are you about winning? To doing those little twists that you need to do. If I'm being used on this winning team, that's what the Knicks has all been talking about. Championship. To get to a championship level, I need to take tweaks. Those tweaks were never done by him.
They didn't lose.
I'm not saying he didn't. I'm not saying they didn't lose because of him. No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying as a player, I just haven't seen that from him.
It doesn't make it. What you're saying is that he should have improved. They didn't lose because he didn't improve.
Well, I can't say that because they put the big man on him because he knew he wasn't going to take 3-pointers.
Because he's a
That's the area where they needed to be better at.
Remember when who busted his eye open? Who busted his eye open? Remember he got his head busted open and blood all over his face?
The argument here is that he didn't make himself better.
He's
Okay,
6'4".
The question as to why they switched off on him because they knew Josh was not going to take that 3-pointer because he lacked confidence in his 3-point shooting. If you didn't do the work and to put the work in on your 3-point shooting, especially when you're taking the shots that you're going to get every single time, and you didn't invest the time to do so, that's on you as a player
So
to not develop that confidence. Now, I'm not saying they lost. I'm not saying they lost because of him. He didn't build on his skill set to be able to take those conversations. His team will have better options. So now they've put him in a situation to where he's now more of a liability than the ability on his team because of his inability to take that seriously. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying they lost because of him, because there was a whole bunch of other things that went down with coach that led that on. The coach didn't. He could have made a point to him. Hey, I need you to make these 3-pointers. So do what you got to do to make those 3-pointers. Take the time to practice. Do it. He didn't do none of that neither. All I'm saying is, the opposing team can pick you out in a way and take advantage of your shortcomings, and that's what they did. They took advantage of his shortcomings.
To me, he was Mr. Rebound. He was Mr. Rebound. That's
all I'm saying. I'm not saying they lost because of him. No, I'm not saying that. A whole bunch of reasons why they did so. The same thing we can say for.
But like you said, if he leaves, to me, he's the heart of the team. Bronson is good, but if he leaves, it's going to be
it's a different team. It's a totally different team. It's a totally different team. I agree with that.
It's going to be a totally
different team. And I'll be like the fifth type of team that they've had,
Yeah, I don't.
There are 3 guys on this team that I feel should be untouchable: Brunson, Hart, and Towns.
Towns better toughen up.
I don't know what is wrong
with that
with
body.
you.
I mean,
Towns has to smarten up.
My finger. Do you see my finger got hurt? I mean, toughen up, man.
Well, anybody can get injured, but when you make stupid,
you gotta be better on defense.
Yeah.
When you do the same move and get an offensive foul call every time, something tells you got to stop doing that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when they won that game, and you know they were congratulating them and everything, and Barkley, he put him on the spot. He said, you know, one thing I got to tell you, you got to stop making those stupid fouls. And he told him, this is stupid. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I got to work on that. Next game, you do the same thing. I just don't understand that.
That's lazy.
You know, and it's bad
Lazy
enough
play.
that
That's right.
it's
That's
bad.
lazy.
I think it comes from also, you know, and I was kind of on the refs case because they were talking about they're letting them play. They were hitting the Knicks 2 or 3 times.
Oh yeah.
Down.
The calls were horrible.
No call.
Yeah. They
You
got
just get
no. Yeah.
a little slash on them, like they made a glass. Bleep. I was like, you got to be kidding me. You know, it's like.
Well, I know Brunson got
they're
beat
playing
up
against
pretty
6 men.
badly.
Yeah.
Brunson got beat up like he had robbed a priest or something.
Yeah, him and Towns. They were
Like,
both.
my goodness.
Oh my goodness.
Get him. Get him. Stone him.
Like he was getting
Man.
eat like
This
left
team,
and
You got to
right.
work on that.
Oh.
yeah, this team is going to be, it's going to be
You got to
interesting.
work on that.
Yeah, I agree.
Foul is
It,
really a dumb foul.
there's a whole
But
lot
see,
of.
we keep talking about Towns need to toughen up. When you're getting 24 and 12 from a man, he's doing his job.
He's not very good on defense.
But Glenn,
At all.
I didn't say
Well,
he has to toughen up.
Here's the point.
I said he has to smarten up. That's
Yeah. I know Susan said toughen up. You said
I
smart.
said toughen up. I'm tired of you. As big as you are, little man hit you. My finger. You see my finger hurt? He walking around, my finger hurt.
So
Put some tape on it and go on.
Here's the what come first, the chicken or the egg scenario?
Yeah.
Susan is tough, boy.
That's the Bronx coming out.
I'm so done. I took my earrings. I said one more time. Think my basketball earrings on. See my basketball earrings.
But here's the funny thing about Towns. We've seen these last 2 playoff seasons with Minnesota and with the Knicks. Minnesota, when he got to what he did to Joker in the Denver series was phenomenal defensively, great. But when against the Dallas team, they exposed him just on the pick and roll. So that clearly is, you know, his a weak point on his game. It was again manifested itself again in this playoff series where they sought him out from the picks, and they had him picking off playing defense against small forwards. You know, whether he was playing the 5 or playing the 4, they were still able to finagle the pick and roll to be able to have him go up against small forwards, which that's not going to be his strongest suits because Siakam had him going all over the place defensively. So it's like, you know, devising a defensive strategy to not being put into those situations, that's a coach decision. But Towns also has to, you know, find a way to be more fluid and been able to navigate in that space because he's getting picked on. So it's a combination of both to me. You know, the coaching has to be able to devise a defense strategy where they're not going to allow himself to be in that situation, whether that's how they have, you know, Brunson and Towns on the court at the same time, or where in a position or fighting through those picks in a better way. That's for the coach to decide. But knowing that he's going to be isolated and picked out in his way, he has to do a better job in either his conditioning or his ability, or maybe just who he is. He's going to always be that way. I don't know. But those are options that have come to my mind when it comes to Towns and his ability to be not effective in those scenarios. That's just what it is to me.
Well, if he plays against a fast 4, he gets exposed. If he plays against a power 4, like
Duran when he was in Detroit, like against Detroit.
Yeah, somebody, a stronger 4, he's all right. But if like Siakam exposed him much faster than him.
And see, Siakam's really a 3. He's a small forward. He's not even a 4, but he's a small forward. But he's just tall, lanky.
Yeah. So he's going to get exposed there.
So that's the best way. There's a coaching matter with that, or his ability to be able to condition himself in one way that he can be able to manage those types of situations better. It's a combination to me.
Well, what would be nice is if we had a center that actually could put the ball in the basket a little bit too.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
That would
I
be
mean,
nice. It seemed like they had tape on the rim. It's every ball, every shot. Knicks Pacers went in. Knicks, it was like it went around the rim, tap, came back out. I was like, what?
we'll see.
I don't know.
But it's going to be an interesting off season.
Yeah.
Highly, as far as we getting back on this scene, this is it for the season. The draft and the off season is going to be what it is. And I'm fearful of putting out a podcast because remember last year we thought our team was going to be one way when we got Bridges. Then come October it was a totally different team again. So I don't even know how to react to that. So to me, I'm like signing off till start of the season.
So how about how about we sign off until 1 week before the season starts?
1 week before the season starts. I'm good with that. But hold up.
No, I think we need to meet one more time, Trevor.
The Towns trade happened the week of the season.
we need to meet two more times because we need to find out our feelings on the new coach.
True that.
Okay, that's fair enough. If they get a new coach, then we come back on that Sunday.
Okay, yeah. So is it a new coach or a new coach with players?
Sound good.
Because it all changes. New coach with players again.
New coach, and then if they change up the lineup, so that'll be the 2.
That's the 2.
All right. Well, new coach come along. We'll talk again.
All right. Sounds good.
All right.
Sounds good.
So and season 24-25.
I just want to
signing off.
Wait! Before you sign off, just remember that I taught you guys a lot today.
Okay, sign off. Can you mute him?
What did you say? I forgot.
He taught us how to cut people off.
I forgot what he said, Trevor. What did he say?
It was good seeing you, big baby.
Good seeing y'all too.
C-.
See you later.
All right, good.
Oh man.
All right. MSG.
Yeah.
All right, good people.
See you.